and welcome to Letha's Real Talk, where we come to educate, empower, nurture, motivate, and bring awareness to all people from all walks of life. We are ordinary people striving to bring a much needed change and to help as many people as possible. Now, let's welcome our host, Miss Letha Goodman.
Thank you for tuning in to Letha's Real Talk. I am your host, Letha. So, today I want to discuss leadership. I want to discuss qualities of a good leader, and I want to kind of give insight on things that we all can do to represent being a good leader. I always know that attitude reflects leadership a good portion of the time. That's a phrase that I've been hearing for years. That's a phrase that I have adopted. That's a phrase that has helped me work on things that I know that I need to work on. So I want to go back pre-COVID. On my 9 to 5 job, on my daytime job, I'm a supervisor, I'm a manager. And honestly, from my experience, management has almost become another title for pick up the slack, over exert yourself, just from my personal experience. What I also learned about myself, things that was going on pre-COVID in my position as a leader, I realized post-COVID that I was too overbearing on a lot of things. I'm a firm believer about time management when it comes to my time, but I'm not going to say that I've always been as well about others people's time as I have been about my time. So as I continue to move forward, I've accepted the fact that a part of being a leader is accepting responsibility, doing things to become a better person, and using those experiences to humble yourself. So I realized part of being a good leader is your attitude. You have to have grandstand attitude. You can't always allow negativity to come in and take over. There were times that I would allow negativity to come in and take over if something occurred in home office or something occurred beyond what I could control. I would allow the negativity to take over. Part of me allowing that negativity to take over is because we tend to conversate with people who think on our same level. We tend to, our peers, even in our work environments, tend to be those that we constantly agree on, we constantly have the same mindset on. I've realized post-COVID that that doesn't always equip a person to be a good leader. What equips a person to be a good leader is you have to be willing to not always focus on the negativity, and you have to be willing to step outside the box. I've also learned that leadership doesn't mean management. Leadership is not about thumping your authoritative ways around. Leadership is always not about trying to make it known that you hold the ball in your court. Leadership is about progressing. Leadership is about moving forward. Leadership is about, if this is where you're trying to go, how close to here have you made it? That's about leadership. Also, attributes of being a leader is you have to study. You have to be willing to get up a little earlier. You have to be willing to go to bed at night a little bit later. Being a leader means that you take sole responsibility that whatever it is, whatever the task is, whatever the agenda is, whatever the event is, whatever it is that you're doing, you're going to treat that as delicate as possible. Because your name is attached to it, you want it to be successful. You're not trying to do things based off the standards of other people. You're per se not attempting to do things the way that somebody else may have done it. When you take over a leadership role, when you take over a leadership position, it is truly about progress. And how do you want to leave people remembering the role that you played in something as being a leader? A lot of the times we look to leaders to make things easier for us. I think that's a horrible, horrible mindset. I think it's an unfair expectation. I think it's very unfair that people give you opportunity and they give you ways on how you can do things, and that they're willing to nurture you, and they're willing to coach you, and they're willing to show you, and they're willing to teach you, but yet and still you just hold everything right here because you're waiting on that one person, or you waiting on those group of people to do it for you. Leadership does not mean the leader is going to do it for you. Leadership means that they're going to provide you tools necessary so that you can be successful regardless of what the situation may be. That's being a leader. And outside of showing people the ways on how to do things and how you're going to complete this task, leadership is about your lifestyle. So people need to know, how serious are you outside of this task? How serious are you outside of this job? How serious are you outside of this project that you may be working on? What are your leadership skills? How do you carry your day-to-day living? How far concerned are you about your mental health? How well are you with taking serious about your finances? How serious are you about the economy being better and people being off better financially? How are you making an impact just in your routine way of living? Also, when it comes to leadership, we have to understand that sometimes leadership changes. We do not like change. When it comes to change, humans are so resistant to change. We don't want anything to switch up that affects what we got going on. I tell people, I talk to managers. Sometimes I'm a supervisor, I'm a manager. I am a manager. And sometimes when I talk to other managers, or if I'm gaining insight, but if somebody reaches out to me for insight and they have just become a new manager, I say, here's the thing. When you take over something that somebody else has dealt with for a while, and these people are used to that face, or these people are used to something going a certain way, it's going to be a challenge. And so when you have your people that are resistant, you want to do what you can to retain those people, but you only want to retain those people if those people are looking to help progress and those people are looking to stay in for the long haul. But also part of being a good leader is you have to recruit your own team. It's called team building. And I tell people over and over again, one of my struggles is networking. One of my issues is connecting and collaborating with people that I have no clue about, people that I've never met. With the age of technology, people that I've never physically seen beyond Facebook, that has been a challenge for me. But even in that being one of my strongest challenges, it's been one of my strongest woo-has. Okay, and when I say it's been a woo-ha and a woo-sa for me, what I'm saying is things that I would resist have been the very things that are allowing me to progress in the manner of where I want to be. And part of that manner, most of that manner, is truly helping people and pulling people outside of their comfort zone. I don't want people so comfortable to think where you have gotten enough. I don't want to be so comfortable to the point to where, we feel like we've learned enough, or we understand enough, or there is nothing else for us to do. I'm a firm believer it's always something you can do. You can always do something better with your health. You can always do something better with your finances. You can always do something better with your mental state. You can always do something better with your family. It's always something more that you can do within your community. It's always something more you can do to help people who are truly aspiring to be helped. These are qualities, and these are things about leadership. And a good leader does not always make their followers comfortable. A good leader will challenge you. A good leader will let you know, well, this may be what you're used to doing, but this is not what you need to continue doing. Get used to doing something different. Challenge yourself. And you can't challenge people if you're not willing to challenge yourself. Leadership. I'm a firm believer. You cannot require me to do anything that you're not willing to do. Look, if you tell me, you know what, Letha, you know what you need to do? You need to go pass out 500 flyers. If you're telling me that, then you need to have already done that. If you're saying, you know what, Letha, you need to start getting up. You're already getting up at 6:30, 7 a.m. You need to be waking up at 4:30 in the morning. Listen, if you're not getting up at 4:30 in the morning, you cannot challenge another individual to do something that you are not exercising and implementing yourself. I'm a firm believer, listen, inside my job, where I am, I can't require people to clean if I don't clean. I heard a stylist say a few years ago, you know, Letha come up in here and she clean the shop like it's her home. She clean it like it's her house. Guess what? If I'm there 6+ hours a day or 5+ hours a day or 4+ hours a day, I don't want to dwell in a filthy, nasty environment. So before I can tell people and instruct people that this is something they need to do, I need to do that myself. Those are things of being a good leader. If I say, you know what, you need to take a mental day. I believe that people need days where they can just space away from the world that's chaotic for them. Now, the world that brings you joy, the world that brings you ease, the world that brings you peace, that's more of what I believe that you need in your day-to-day routine. However, we also know that struggle is part of living. We also know that chaos is part of living. We know that challenges, that's part of living. But what I also know, and what I also believe, but what I also know, the importance of spacing away. Spacing away from those things that may give you a headache, or situations, circumstances, or people. Sometimes you have to step away. Sometimes you have to space away. I understand the importance of not being so consumed in a task, or not being so consumed in a cause that you get lost in yourself. And that's another thing about a leader. A leader is going to make certain things priority. Listen, everybody know me. I'm a family-oriented person. I feel like it's some things going on right now that I cannot control, even within my own family. But I'm not going to discourage you all from doing the very things that I believe in, and things that I have implemented, and things that I have exercised. So I believe there is a vast importance with people taking time with their families. To me, that's part of being a good leader. Part of being a good leader also is keeping your space neat and tidy. I'm not the cleanest person in the world. I'm really not. I am not the most organized person in the world. I'm not. It's a challenge for me. But as well as it's a challenge, I'm not going to allow the challenges to get to a point to where I'm not going to make any attempt to stay organized. I'm not going to make any attempt to keep my space clean. There are certain things that you implement in your day-to-day living as a leader. I want to share this with you. I was talking to my sister a few weeks ago, and we have little discussions. So my sister says, hey, we understand we have these devices, right? We know that we have these devices, okay? So it's no secret that we have this particular device. And we understand that we can read from the phone, we can shop from the phone, our iPads, we can check our security cameras at home, we can do all of these things from the phone. But when you're reading, my sister reminded me the importance of putting the phone down and flipping pages. Which means if you're going to read a book or you're going to read something, it's best to incorporate more of pulling away from the device, where you don't have those emails coming through, where you don't have those text messages coming through while you're reading, where you don't have those Facebook messages coming through while you're reading, where you don't have those phone calls, and you don't have those calendar reminders, and you don't have all of these disruptions and all of these distractions coming in while you are truly going into a phase of meditation. That is a virtue of a good leader. A good leader is able to also remind other people, listen, I understand this is what you used to. I understand you got a lot of things going on. Listen, I understand, but I also understanding part of you being strong mentally is truly unplugging. You know, I want people to be able to be a better people, a better person. Part of doing that is encouraging people is to focus more on your leadership skills. I've also learned that being a good leader, don't be so quick to react and respond to everything. Listen, I'm horrible with that. I'm horrible. You shoot me an email I don't agree with, I'm bad about going in. You send me a text message, I'm horrible about going in. You say something wrong to me, and then I'm constantly calling. And then what I've learned is that when we do that, when we're so quick to respond to negativity, it drains you mentally. When it drains you mentally, that energy that you have been drained of, you give that negativity to the very people that you say you want to lead. Leadership. Leadership is not always about calling other people out. Leadership is always not talking down about other people or talking down about other cultures or talking down about how a business operates. Part of leadership, I tell people, be the change you want to see. A lot of people talk about the change they want to see, but a lot of people are not willing to be that change. Who am I to critique how somebody operates their business? Who am I to critique how somebody teaches their kids? Who am I to critique how you operate inside your home or how you live your lifestyle instead of me focusing more on things that I need to do different? You know, by default, it's easy for us to find something wrong with everybody else. It's easy to us to find something wrong with the way the entire world operates. But when it comes to us being checked, and when it comes to us having that revelation or that realization that we need to do something different, we don't want to deal with that. And I believe that that's part of why a lot of things society-wise is so disruptive. It's because we focus more on what we want out of other people instead of us doing what we need to be doing ourselves. Listen, I tell people, you know, hey, post-COVID has been a humbling experience for me. It's a lot of things, a lot of ways that I used to think, things that I used to believe in, things that I would easily go along with. That's not where I am right now. Where I am right now in this season in my life, I want to uplift people while bringing awareness, but I don't want to bring awareness at the cost of other people's detriment. So when I say other people's detriment, I don't want you going further down the totem pole. I want you climbing up the ladder. I want you moving up the mountain. I want you elevating. I want your mind to allow you to absorb the concept that no matter how hard things may be and no matter how challenging things may be, if you put forth a foot forward and you keep taking steps forward, that you're going to make progress. Those are signs of a good leader. You know, I texted a young lady the other day, young lady, I've been knowing her for some years. For, I know at least 13, 14. Well, I'm going to say 12, maybe 13 years. And I text her, I say, you know what? I salute you. I salute you, Queen. And she was like, what's wrong? And I'm just sitting here telling her, you know, for her to be the person that she is, she has a husband, she has kids, she works, you know, she got dogs, you know, she's always giving to somebody, she's always doing something extra, she constantly staying busy, and she has all these obligations in all these areas and all these aspects of life. And we don't reflect enough on that. And I wanted to tell her, you know what? I salute you. You're doing an awesome job. Another young lady who is a very, very dear friend of mine, she has kids. She's a mom. She's a single mom. And she doesn't let defeat take over her. So she has encouraged me that whatever it is that you want, you have to go after it. And I appreciate women who stand in another woman's corner and uplift women while reminding women that we need to keep our morals intact. Just like I appreciate men who commend other men and encourage them to keep moving forward while reminding them to keep certain morals intact. And that's what we need. We want leaders to represent most people, to represent us in the way that we want to be represented. But we really need leaders who are going to represent us and help us. Not represent, erase the word represent. You need leaders who are going to help you and encourage you to be better. And that's what we need. So before we go further in our day-to-day living, always keep in mind that there are so many attributes and there are so many qualities of a good leader, but the best thing you can do is be the change that you want to see. You want somebody to do something different, you do something different. You feel like something needs to be better, you do something better. Listen, I thank you all for taking the time with me. I'm your host, Letha. You can reach me at all social media platforms or most at hashtag Letha's Real Talk. If you're looking to be a guest on the show, you're welcome to send me an email at lethasrealtalk@gmail.com. That's LETHASREALTALK@gmail.com. Walk in your leadership. Thank you.